In auto restoration videos. Our project for today is the repair and removal of the old heater air duct hose that comes off the exhaust headers and goes up and goes through the engine compartment, not the engine, the passenger compartment, and that's how you get your heat in the winter time. Alright, now this car has a smashed heater pipe. I guess the motor was removed once, and when they put it back in, somehow they banged it all up. But you have to take the air conditioner out to get at this heater hose. The heater hose actually comes off of the exhaust pipes, exhaust manifold, comes up through the car, the back of the car here where the engine is, goes underneath the air conditioner, comes up over the fan or the alternator, then goes back in through the passenger compartment. We're only concerned with getting the pipe changed from the bottom going up to the top of the engine here. Okay, because there's a big coupler up there. We could just get in there, we were going to be doing all right. Now, the thing is, this was replaced once already, I think. It must have been. And they didn't do it right. They put the wrong size hose on. Alright? The hose they put on was too small. But the thing is, how can I say this? You got to have a big hose on either end. Alright? A big diameter. But you need a little hose to get underneath of this air conditioner. Alright? So you're going to need two splices in there. Because a big hose cannot make the bend. This is what I'm talking about. You can't make really tight bends with this big hose. But if you have one that's just a little smaller than this, an aluminum one, you can go, there's no problem at all. So what we have to do is we have to kind of slice that little thin piece in about a foot up. Okay? Because this is the only thing that will bolt to that manifold. Okay? You can't use a smaller one. It just won't work. And the holes that is there on the bottom where this goes through is for this size hose. So if you were to put a quick reducer in there, what would happen is you'd have all this space where this hose is supposed to go through. And that's going to be it. Then you have another problem. Okay? So that's our dilemma right now. So, now, this came off of the exhaust manifold, and this is where a pipe goes. Alright? Now the problem was, even with this thing tightened up all the way, this clamp coming off the exhaust manifold, this was still turning. Okay? So, they have two slits in here already. We're going to have to probably make two more. What we're going to do with that is I have something called a cutoff wheel. It's air powered. I'm just going to make a couple slices in here the same depth. Maybe make 3. 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 4. Doesn't really matter too much. But what's happening is this metal is not being able to get compressed enough. Alright, you got to have more space in here than what they allowed. This one here is even starting to buckle a little bit. They should have made it wider. Probably this over here, which is about 1/8 of an inch, is the ideal cut. So that's going to be our first step. I'm going to go ahead and go get my air tool, and we're going to cut this thing up. Now there is always more than one way to skin a cat. Here I'm going to use my bigger version of a cutoff wheel. you make sure you don't cut it too deep. Make sure you cut the right end too. I think that should do it. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut off the burr on the back side on this thing. Just get a round file and go over that burr. Well, this is what I'm talking about, guys. We have this big square tube that goes around the exhaust header. It collects the air, and the air gets sucked up through here. There's a fan on the other end sucking this stuff out. So we have to get this hose hooked up over here. Shouldn't be too bad. We have to see how far it's sticking up out the top. Then we're going to have to put this piece on top of it. And we got this adapter. Well, there's already an adapter similar to this. It's already up there. Don't forget, we're going to need 2 splices. This is just one of the flanges to go in that splice. So let me go ahead and see if I can hook this thing up and see what's happening up there on the top inside the engine compartment. Well, here it is hooked up. Except for my clamp over here and tightening this clamp up. Now we got to take a look upstairs and hopefully we don't have to cut this big hose. Part of the problem is this exhaust flange that I'm using here is way too big, too long. I'm going to have to cut this down and just allow about 1 inch hanging out. Use my cutoff wheel for that. Well, that's more like it. Let's put this inside that thin hose and stuff it up there and see if we can make that bend. Before it was sticking up this high, right up against the bottom of the air conditioner bracket. There's no way we could bend it. At least now we got a little room for bendage, you know. We back this off a little bit more too, and we should make it. I'm going to give this a try. I doubt if it's going to fit in because I think this clamp isn't going to fit through that opening there. I was lucky even to get the hose through. Just like no room to work under there, and I don't know how I would get that clamp on. But we'll see what happens. There might be a chance I can get that clamp on. It's going to be like a magic trick, but we're going to give it a shot. See where we're at here? So once we come up here, we're going to put our big tube on and hook it over to here. But the thing is, this air conditioner was really put on as an afterthought. So when this air conditioner goes on, there's only a certain amount of adjustment you can get because it lays right up against this, my heat pipe here. And if you don't get that measurement before you reach this pipe, now you're out of luck. I did manage to get that clamp on. Don't even ask me how I did it. I used a thin clamp. Now to get this air conditioner back on. This wire must have been squashed by that air conditioner for a long time. This was buried behind the original pipe that came up, and the air conditioner was smashed up against it, squashing this. That's really brittle stuff there too. I'm going to go ahead and put some tape around that. Now, I still have to put my bolts in. You know, after all of this work, still when I put this air conditioner in, I still smashed this thing. Okay? Yeah, I still smashed it. But I got a big screwdriver, you know, one of those like big pry bar things, and I got in here and I popped it back out. That's crazy, right? After all that work. So the bottom I'm going to leave loose for a while because I have to do that valve cover. But I have it up, I have it all set up, and you know it's good where it is. So I just pop it off, remove that valve cover, put on a new one, and then put the valve cover back on. Then go ahead and push that hose back up. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in the rest of the bolts that hold this air conditioner, and then we'll be able to just work up here. Now, I don't know where this thing is supposed to go, but we'll figure something out. Well, here we are, gentlemen. We have one bolt in here that we have to, a nut on a threaded rod, that when you tighten it down, it moves this air compressor over, and it tightens the belt. Of course, you can only get 1/4 turn at each time. So I have all the rest of the bolts holding down this air conditioner just finger tight. Supposedly that this engine was rebuilt by a restoration shop in Las Vegas. Alright? But they left half the bolts out. That's crazy. I don't know what the hell kind of restoration shop they are. And over here, I don't know. Let me see over here on the side. I don't know if you could see it, but there's no clamp over here or nothing. There wasn't. They got the hose and they just shoved it in here, and it's supposed to go over. It's like, you know, they had a 3-hour job and they only had an hour to do it. My restoration shop where I used to work, we would get fired. We did stuff like this. This is just insane. Just insane to work like this. And when they put the valve covers on, you think they put any RTV in there? No RTV. That's why they're leaking like a sieve. So it's just, thank God, it's just minor things. All right, it's just little stupid minor things that are wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and tighten this belt up some more. Then I'm going to tighten down the rest of the bolts on the air conditioner. And it seems like with this new belt on, I'll be able to bring the air conditioner back a little more. Okay, away from my hose, so it won't be right up against it, squashing it. All right, it seems like this might have been the belt might have been just a little bigger than the last belt, like maybe, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch or 3/8 or something. That's just enough for me to bring this thing more back over into the center of its travel. Okay, so I still got to put this piece on yet, and we'll show you how to do that when a couple minutes. See this bolt right here? This threaded bolt. Now when you tighten this down, this whole compressor moves to the right. And that's how you tighten the belt. It should be pretty tight. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tighten that thing down. I just thought, you know, you'd want to see where it is. Oh, and there's a little nut that was behind this. A bolt that was missing. There's like one, I think there was 2 missing in the back. 2 missing back behind this compressor that they forgot to put in. It's just crazy. Just pure laziness. And to let a car go out with a smashed hose like they did, that's just stupidity. Okay, gentlemen, I guess everybody's got their own way of working. See you in a couple of minutes. Well, here it is. I just got to put a wire tie over this to hold it down. I got my 2 clamps in. Just 1 bolt back behind here though. The only way you can get it is if this isn't on. I'm going to have to loosen this up again. Push this way back. Tighten that bolt up behind here. Then I can put it back on. But for now, that's it for me. This is Vince, Auto Restoration Videos. Wishing you good luck on your projects. Check out my new website, www.autorestorationvideos.com. Click on my business Facebook link. Find out what kind of other projects I'm working on, what problems I'm having, and more details on this project too, probably. See you later. Now I have the hose installed, but the trunk lid don't want to close. And I'm not sure whether it's the hose isn't sitting in right or my latch is giving me a problem again. I needed some work before. So I put some tin foil on top of this hose. Of course, I'm seeing a little indentation in up here. I don't know if that was from before or I just put it in. So I'm going to try to close the hood. And if this gets all compressed, that tin foil, then I know that hose is in the way. Let's just try it. I think it might be my latch. I don't see any indentation in here. Let's try that again. Was my latch. Yeah, my latch needs a little more adjustment. See why she isn't going down far enough or something. I'm going to have to try readjusting that. Seems like the latch was just a little out of adjustment. I had to move it over just a little bit to the other side. About maybe an 1/8 of an inch or something. They're pretty finicky. But there it is. All ready to go. Too bad the AC. This is one of the poorer pumps Porsche made. I hear that it doesn't really do too much. But what are you going to do? So this is Vince, Auto Restoration Videos. Check out my website, autorestorationvideos.com. Click on my business Facebook link. Find out different projects I'm working on and what kind of gripes I'm having. Well, I guess we could wrap this puppy up here. Well, I hope you people have better luck in the future and get your work done in a timely, speedy manner and done the right way. We'll see you next time. Adios.